Hey there, I'm Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news. Dave Chappelle was at Lincoln Center. They were celebrating Duke Ellington's 125th birthday. Now, you might be like, why was Dave Chappelle there? You may recall he attended Duke Ellington School of the Arts in Washington, D.C., and they were honoring him a few years back. Chappelle said of Lincoln Center, man, you never thought you'd see me at an event like this. But he talked about the school and said, that school profoundly changed my life. Duke Ellington was a guy who traveled all around the world just based off his talent. And as kids, we knew that it was possible just because his energy was in the air. The New York Times says Chappelle mostly stuck to the teleprompter, but threw in a few ad-libs, including, you can't get one of the greatest comedians in the world to just read a teleprompter. And then he talked about a certain politician and said, it's up to us. We got to keep this tradition alive. This is one of the best things we got going in America. He'll come here saying, I got to make jazz great again. And send your letters to Dave Chappelle. I've been mentioning a few times during this admittedly slow news week that Nikki Glaser is the gift who keeps on giving. If you need another story, you type Nikki Glaser into Google and you never know what shows up. She weighed in on this whole Bill Belichick girlfriend thing because of course she did. But what's even stranger to me is she was responding to an Instagram post by the Dudes on Dudes podcast, which I didn't know Nikki Glaser was a fan of. The dudes from Dudes on Dudes are two guys that used to play for the Patriots, specifically Julian Edelman and Rob Gronkowski. Even if you're a casual football fan, you've probably at least heard of Gronk. These are like some serious Patriots, so they would know Bill Belichick. Edelman said of Belichick's girlfriend, she was jumping into that conversation during the interview, just like any PR person would jump in when there's an unnecessary question that they probably didn't go over in the pre-production meeting. Gronkowski said, yep, she's become his rep on top of being a girlfriend. Nikki Glaser chimed in on the Instagram in the comments and said, 100% this. She's acting as his publicist. Publicists do this during interviews. People are out for blood. A strange note from John Mulaney's show has made the news. Have you seen this thing on social media all week? Could 100 men fight one gorilla? It's been going around online. Mulaney said it prompted a debate in our writer's room about whether 3 14-year-old boys could beat up me, John Mulaney. Mulaney has now vowed to fight 3 14-year-old boys on the season finale on May 28th. Mulaney asked, is this legal? So far, we think so. It's not assault, we know that, and we're vetting every step of it. I've been led to believe that it's for TV. It's a lawful practice. Now, Mulaney doesn't seem like the toughest guy in the world, but then again, he also didn't seem like he had a drug problem, so maybe he's secretly ripped and secretly tough. Now, I don't know if you've raised any sons. 3 14-year-old boys could be quite physically imposing. I'm going to bet $1 on the 3 14-year-old boys beating up John Mulaney if they actually do this thing. Sophie Buttle talked about writing monologues for Taylor Tomlinson's show. During the audition process, they apparently told Sophie the monologue should be about a page, and if it takes you more than an hour or two to write a page, you're wrong for the job. Sophie said, I banged it out really fast, and Taylor and I went and hung out as planned. The next morning, I flew out to a comedy festival. When I landed, my manager had scheduled a Zoom. I got to the hotel and we had a meeting with the head writer, the EP, some other folks. They decided they wanted to hire me. I had to leave the comedy festival early so that I could start that Monday. She explained how long it takes to write a first draft. Technically, our day starts at 8:30 a.m. We get a research packet with a bunch of online trends and options to write jokes about, and I have to be done with the draft by 10. On Wednesday, they tape 2 episodes. Hey, that's a thing people do. I know one guy who's taping Friday and Saturday in this session right now. Wednesdays is our double tape day, so I have to do 2 monologue drafts between 8:30 and 10, and those are much harder. I use the full amount of time on single tape days, so it feels like a truly great feat of human willpower to get 2 done. Nate Bargatze told the New York Times, I don't plan on touring and doing stand-up forever. I want to make movies. People can think if you get too big, you're going to change. The audience is very much in line with everything that I will make. Again, I try not to do it for me. It's for you. I want them, the audience, to be able to trust that. Keep coming and see that I'm trying to do something a little against the grain right now. When I started in comedy, some comics would be like, well, I'm not for everybody. And I'd be like, well, why do you want to not be for everybody? Nate has been saying the next special will be on Netflix, and I could see maybe one more special after that. I don't want to overstay my welcome. I also want to get out of the way. I need to let the next wave of comedians come up. I got this tour and then maybe one more. We'll see. I'll believe that when it happens. Jon Stewart, he's in a band, and the Asbury Park Press said they played on Monday night. Church and State TM is Rick Barry on vocals, Andy Bova on guitar, Jim Bova on bass, and Jon Stewart on the drums. Apparently they were at Georgie's Bar on Monday night. Stewart joked from the stage, we know almost 8 songs. Tonight, you get to hear 7 of them. John was also confused and said, you guys don't put The Daily Show on at 11? I drove here straight from the show. This is embarrassing. Tina Fey worries that people actually believe she's remaking The Golden Girls with Amy Poehler and told those folks, go to a hospital. Now, no offense, Tina Fey and Amy Poehler. It's actually a great idea. You guys would crush it. Can't you make like 8 of them for Netflix? Just do it and be done. There's a fake image floating around. It features Amy Poehler, Maya Rudolph, Lisa Kudrow, and Tina Fey as the Golden Girls. Tina told Entertainment Tonight, oh, I did know about this. I like that it was fooling people. Like, why would we ever take a picture where Amy and Lisa Kudrow are in costume, but we are not? If this fooled you, you might be a boomer. And if you're Gen X and this fooled you, go to a hospital. The Great American Comedy Festival comes to Norfolk, Nebraska. Friday, June 13th, they've announced the headliners, River Butcher, David Perdue, Amy Schenker, Adam Tiller, and host Chip Chantry. Night will end with your headliner, James Austin Johnson. The festival began in 2008 to honor Johnny Carson, who grew up in the area. Meanwhile, the Dubai Comedy Festival is back, baby. This one not until October. It's its 5th year, featuring international and regional stand-up stars at various venues, including Dubai Opera and the Coca-Cola Arena. So who's there, John? Tom Segura, who we're going to talk about tomorrow. I got a fun story I'm sitting on. I needed a headline. I told you I'm taping 2. I told you. I admitted it. So I saved the Tom Segura story. Just Google Tom Segura, Garth Brooks if you can't wait, but that's tomorrow's leadoff story. I'm taping Friday and Saturday back-to-back. What do you want from me? Segura will open the festival on October 2nd. Then on the 5th, Omid Jalili. On the 7th, it's Irish comedian Joanne McNally, who previously appeared at the festival in 2023. Morgan J., LA-based comedian and musician Morgan J., who's been coming up a little bit on the show lately, makes his Dubai debut on October 6th at Dubai Opera. And your closer for the festival on October 12th at Coca-Cola Arena, Indian comedian Zakir Khan. Khan is performing in Hindi. The festival overall will feature shows in several languages, including English, Arabic, and Hindi, as well as interactive experiences across the city. Out today, a new comedy album, Simon Gibson's The Wizard's Boy. Recorded live in Montana, Simon Gibson took the stage with high kicks before sharing several hilarious personal stories, including his time working as a customer service rep, a fancy coffee artist, and deli server, plus his weight gain / weight loss journey, his hobbyist dad's homemade magic wands, and more. Simon Gibson is described as Chris Farley meets Sam Kinison. Love it. Simon Gibson's The Wizard's Boy, out today from A Special Thing Records. And I've got one more John Cleese thing that I saved because, you like a little fun kicker story at the end of the podcast, leave everybody with a smile. It's kind of how the format works, right? So the format is like big names at the front, then talk about like some comedy festival overseas kind of in the middle at the end. I try and leave you with a smile. That's how this works. You've caught on to this? Yes. John Cleese told Parade magazine, the third wife got 2 properties. One was in London and one was in New York, and we had to sell the other 3. What's the difference between a famous singer and a famous comedian? About $200 million. If you lose your nest egg at 70, there's not much alternative to constantly working. I could have married somebody rich. And that is your comedy news for today. Boy, I bet you can't wait to hear that Tom Segura story. I know you can't wait. Well, I'm about to read it, but you can't hear it until tomorrow because I pre-tape Saturday. See ya.